All right, folks, welcome to the Average Joe Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, Jay Real. We have a really good show for you today. We're going to be covering the UFC, the big fights that just occurred over the past weekend. We're going to talk about NFL, and we're going to do a lot with NBA. But right now, we have our UFC expert on the phone. Hey, Shannon, what's up, girl?
I'm here, man. What's up?
So, tell us about this weekend. How'd the fights go?
They were pretty good. There was a lot of talk about the main event. The fights were decent. The John Jones and Chael Sonnen fight, which was the main event.
Right.
Chael Sonnen did lose. First round knockout. He had Chael Sonnen down in a ground and pound. And Chael never even had a chance. He just swarmed him, just demolished him. And the ref called the fight. When Chael was really upset, said that he was defending himself. It wasn't a good call, but that's crap. It was a good call. He was getting his butt whooped. And after the fight, they were doing the interview with John Jones. He looked down and realized that he had broke his foot somewhere in the midst of the fight, but no, but they never said what actually happened to break his foot, but it was his big toe and the bone was sticking out. There was blood everywhere.
Oh.
But the adrenaline was so crazy, he didn't even know his foot was broke. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, it was a good fight. I knew that John Jones was going to take it. That makes him completely undefeated. Nobody has beat him in the octagon yet.
Wow. Now, so did Chael Sonnen continue running his mouth after this, or did he just kind of be like, okay, I'm going to shut up?
He kind of shut up after that. He was like, respect for John Jones. He's a hell of a fighter. And he did say that he wasn't prepared for the type of fighter that John Jones is. Because John Jones, I honestly think that John Jones is a better fighter than Anderson Silva. And if one of them, Anderson Silva, John Jones, if one of them would go to whatever weight class they need to go to, that would be the UFC fight ever would be John Jones and Anderson Silva.
Right.
They're really unique fighters, but Chael Sonnen wasn't, even after fighting Anderson Silva, he still said that John Jones was no other fighter he's ever fought in the UFC before. And he wasn't prepared. He did say that.
Okay, and then what other big fights? Give me at least one or two quick updates on some other big fights that happened that night.
The co-main event was Michael Bisping and Alan Belcher. That was the co-main event. Bisping won, and it was also a first-round knockout. And then the other huge one was Big Country Roy Nelson and Chet Congo. Chet Congo was put to sleep within the first 2 minutes of the first round.
Really? Wow. Now,
Knocked him out, dude.
Now, did Roy Nelson look as thick as he normally did, or I've heard that he's slimming down a little bit?
No, that's crap. He's still just as big as he ever was.
Okay.
And, he's got this signature move after every fight that he wins. He jumps up on the cage and he rubs his big old belly. It hasn't changed, dude. He's still just as big as he ever was.
All right. That sounds awesome. We weren't able to catch the fights this weekend, but we knew we wanted to get with you right off the bat early this week to get an update on the Chael Sonnen fight. So is there any news on what Chael Sonnen's doing next?
You know what? Chael Sonnen actually said that if there's nowhere else for him to advance, that he's probably not going to be fighting in the UFC anymore.
Yeah, I kind of think the guy doesn't even have to fight. He has the deal with the UFC commentator where he has his show now, and
he just said, John Jones is the one to beat, and there's nowhere for him to advance now, and so he said, unless there's some other way for him to be on top and be the number one fighter in the UFC, he said that he's just it's not worth him doing it anymore, he said.
Right, and that makes a lot of sense. Well, Shannon, We are so grateful for you to keep coming in and telling us all about this stuff, and we'll see you soon, all right?
All right.
Okay, sweetie. All right, we'll see you soon. All right. Thanks so much to the crew member, Shannon, for coming in and giving us her UFC cuts. We are really behind the UFC. We think the sport is growing every single year, and we love the sport. We think it's taken over boxing, unfortunately, because there's just no big names in boxing. It's all in the UFC. So thank you, Shannon, so much for your updates. We look forward to seeing you in the future. Now, happened from last Thursday, continued through the weekend, and unfortunately, our boy, Manti Te'o, was not taken in the first round, but that's okay, folks, because when you really break it down, there was only a couple of skilled positions besides the offensive and defensive line that were taken in the first round. Second round comes around, and Manti Te'o was off the board pretty quick. So we're okay with him going early in the second round. That also will relieve a lot of pressure off of him for not being that first round pick, to having to jump in and produce and be that number one draft pick right off the bat. So he gets a little bit of leeway there to learn and practice and really get his skills down, because he was not that first round draft pick and not getting thrown in the wolves. So good for you, Manti Te'o. Other news in the NFL, the draft was, as much as I said it would be, pretty boring. We knew hardly any of the names, and the first pick, I never even heard of the dude. So, excuse me, much as what we thought of the draft happened, I pretty much didn't even care about the whole first round. Didn't think Manti Te'o, after the first few teams we thought should have taken him, that could have taken him. So we knew it would all happen in the second round. So we just hope the next season, the next draft, will be a lot more entertaining and a lot more meaningful when it comes to big-name college players coming in the NFL. Now, moving on from the draft, we're going to go ahead and cover some big news. Tim Tebow was released from the New York Jets, and now he has no job. He is a just guy looking for a team and looking for a home. Now, the way we look at this whole deal here at the Average Joe Sports Talk Show is that Tim Tebow has been getting a raw deal since last season. The Jets brought him in, and I truly think he thought was bringing him in to be the backup for Mark Sanchez and eventually be the replacement for Mark Sanchez, knowing that Mark Sanchez was on the downward spiral of his career already, even only 4 years into the NFL. And that's exactly what happened. Mark Sanchez, time and time again, I mean, he's representing my people. I love the guy, but my gosh, he is just a horrible quarterback. So what do we got to do? We got to look at his situation in the Jets organization. His play was going down the tubes. 4 interceptions, 1, 2, 3, 4 games. I mean, come on. That's unacceptable. That's horrible quarterbacking. And guess what? You have Tim Tebow took the Denver Broncos, and I don't care what anybody says, he took them to the playoffs the season before that. Yes, they had an amazing defense. Great defense. But when it comes down to it, anyone that knows football will tell you, if you don't have a good quarterback, if you don't have a winning quarterback, you're not going to have a winning team. And that's what Tim Tebow is. He's a winner. So what does he do? He gets Denver Broncos to the playoffs, and they beat my Steelers in the first round of the playoffs and send my boys home packing. That's Tim Tebow. So what do? They don't give Tim Tebow a chance in the Jets organization in New York, even though their organization is just circling the toilet bowl because of Mark Sanchez. No, what do? They go to their third-string quarterback. Since Tebow has got to the Jets, all they've done is peed on this guy, crapped on this guy, and then threw him out the back door. I don't care that the Jets cut him. I'm glad they cut him, because now hopefully somebody will give this guy a chance, whether it's to be an NFL quarterback or it's just to be on the roster making a contribution to the winning team, because that's what Tim Tebow does. He just wins. So where are we looking at? Tim Tebow. Well, there's so much talks about the New England Patriots, and I would hate for Tim Tebow to go to the New England Patriots because I cannot stand New England Patriots. But it makes the most sense for him to go to the New England Patriots. Why? Because even with all of the circus that will follow behind him, it's not the man's fault that he is so popular. It's not his fault that everybody loves a good guy and a winner in Tim Tebow. It's not his fault that he has fans from across the United States and even probably the world that follow him, and he hasn't even played 7 passes in the last 12 months. It's not his fault that everybody loves this guy and that everybody wants to be around him and know what's going on with him. So not too many teams can deal with that. The players don't like him because it's a little player hate. The coaching staff doesn't want to deal with it because they have on regular just little interviews, regular little outings out on the field, it's like mass hysteria. It's like the Beatles are in town when Tim Tebow's on your team. And a lot of teams don't want to deal with that. And that's understandable. I don't think that would be the case with the Patriots. Why? Bill Belichick has this team on lockdown. Not only does he have the team on lockdown, reporters, staff, everybody knows their limitations when it comes to the Patriots. Why? Because it's been established and set for the last 5 years, even longer. Bill Belichick has set that team up to be successful. No matter how much I hate it, the guy has total control of the locker room. And Tim Tebow would go there, and he would also fit right in to his position or his role. He might have to give up the idea of being a quarterback. But, even with that said, to have him as an option to do some type of wildcats or some type of special trick plays, it's nice to know you have a guy like Tim Tebow back there or available to pull off some of these plays. So we'll just have to see what happens. We really are behind Tim Tebow as we are. Manti Te'o. We like these two individuals. Tim Tebow has established himself as a winner already on the NFL level. Manti Te'o has a lot of work to go still. So the draft again has already happened. Everyone's going to start getting ready for their NFL fantasy season. That's right. If you want to get involved with the Average Joe Sports Talk Show Fantasy League, contact the Player Zone through Player Zone Facebook, or you can go to RiodosoMidtown.com, click on the Merchants tab, and just click on, bam, the Player Zone, and you can get in touch with us through there. Or if you want to get direct involved or contact us directly, you can go to the Average Joe Sports Talk Show Facebook. Let us know, hey, we are interested. Call us, email us, text us. Shoot, you can tweeter us for all we care. Whatever it takes for you to get involved, we want you to get involved. Now, we're just going to move right on and get into another very touchy subject here, and it deals with the NBA. We already know the NBA playoffs have been rolling along. The Lakers have been swept. They're a complete mess, but can you blame them? I heard the roster, the lineup of injuries of the individuals on that team that were not playing in that final game. They should be ashamed of themselves. And if they're that hurt all the time, they need to just retire and let good-bodied people, younger athletes, get involved with the Lakers and let them have an opportunity to win. Because, my gosh, Metta World Peace, Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, the list can go on and on these guys that are injured off the LA Lakers. Who was playing for them? I mean, it's just ridiculous. You have Howard out there trying to win the games by himself. It's just pathetic that the Lakers are that decimated by injuries because they have all these older players that need to retire. And I'm sorry to say it, the Black Mamba, you're on that list, buddy. You've had a great run. You'll have some really great stats and records that will follow for years to come. But, buddy, you're never going to be Michael Jordan, and you're never going to surpass Michael Jordan. So don't put your body through it, and don't put your teammates through you breaking down throughout the season. So we hope the Lakers figure it out. We also have the individual in the NBA that just recently came out of the closet saying that he was a gay athlete. This is all I'm going to say about it. First of all, I don't even know who the guy is. Never heard of him. Don't know of any of the teams. I believe it was mentioned he played for the Celtics. or maybe it was even the Cleveland Cavaliers or somebody. Regardless, never heard of him. Really don't care if he's straight or gay. Same goes for anyone that plays in any kind of major league sport. Because to me, who cares what your sexual orientation is? You're not showing that on the field. You're not walking up to other men on the field or on the court or on the mound and kissing all over them and doing your thing. No, you're there to do a job. You're there to pitch. You're there to hit. You're there to ground balls. You're there to throw it, make your free throws, or you're there to make touchdowns. That's it. That's all we should care about. This subject is so ridiculous. We're not even going to spend any more time on it. He's not a hero. He's not anything but a man that plays basketball, and good for him for having the nerve to talk about it and be open with his sexuality. But really, again, it's no big deal to us here at the Average Joe Sports Talk Show, so we're not going to spend any more time on it, and we're going to leave it at that. Going on to the playoffs, Miami just rolled right over their opponent, and is anyone going to be able to compete with Miami Heat this season? Now that you have Westbrook out for the season, there goes Oklahoma. Clippers are playing like crap because Griffin won't step up and be a leader that he needs to be. This guy is a beast. He is the same size of or close to LeBron James. This guy should be dominating. He should be scoring at will, and he should just be a force to reckon with. Oh my gosh, the Clippers are just not showing it this year. So basically, what do we got left in the West? The Spurs. The Spurs, I'm not going to say have no chance. They are healthy right now. They are playing great basketball. The problem that I see with them is the matchups that they have on the Heat. The Heat are younger, they're more energetic, they're more athletic, and they have more power, especially in the paint. So how are we going to break this down? It's going to be very difficult to see anybody competing with Miami Heat in the finals. So we're going to go ahead and project and predict right here on today's show. You can keep this on your archives. You can go back and watch it at any time and point in the future. But the Heat will win another championship this year. They will push for another one next year. And unless the Clippers or Oklahoma can be healthy at the end of the season, they're going to win another one next year. 3 in a row before anyone pushes them out. And that's our projection and our prediction for the Miami Heat and the NBA. So with that said, we just want to thank the Player Zone, again, hooking us up with the house, hooking us up with all this cool stuff to let you all see. And if you're interested in buying anything or even asking questions, because they have everything. They have vintage comic books, Golden Age comic books from the 50s, Star Wars figures. They have Magic the Gathering. They have Pokemon. They have art, action figures, sports cards, autographs, memorabilia. There's probably nothing these folks don't have. And it's up to you to get in contact with them if you're interested in buying any of this particular items. And we appreciate not the Average Joe Sports Store. We need them. We need us. But we have to say thank you to Right On Time Errand and Delivery Service for, again, being one of our sponsors. We want to thank Big Sarge for being out there and really working hard. We should have a guest on the show again next Friday, a new guest, so we're real excited about Friday's show. But this is going to wrap it up for Tuesday's show. We hope you enjoyed it. Good luck. Prayers be to you, Tim Tebow, Manti Te'o, knock 'em dead in San Diego. For right now, J. Real's going to say peace and much love. We'll see you next time. J. Real. J. Real.